Today, I became an SPX69 holder. And in this video, I'm going to talk about what SPX6900 is, why I'm invested in this project, my personal research, my strategy for dollar cost averaging SPX6900. I'll basically give you my insights as to why this project can reach over $100 billion in market cap and why I also believe that this coin would be regarded as a safe bet. Now, guys, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ken the Crypto. I've been trading and investing in crypto for over 8 years now. Been through multiple bear markets, multiple bull markets, made 7 figures, lost it, made it back again. And I'm here to share you the lessons. So subscribe for more crypto alphas and knowledge. I also have a free Telegram group where I share breakdowns of trades, market insights, alphas. It's going to be the first link in the description below. So join it. It's free. So here's a brief history about SPX900. Currently sitting at 1.62 billion market cap with an all-time high of about $2 billion in market cap. It is a meme coin that launched in mid-2023, as you see, August right here. And for about a year, over a year, from August all the way to September, it did not do much. And usually when I see projects like this, I like to see where it's super flat for an entire year, maybe even more. And I've seen this with many projects like Dogecoin, XRP. Looking at this chart, it looks like from that entire year, they were just in the phase of building cult, building community. And for a meme coin to even survive in a bear market is actually impressive because this thing held up for over $1 million for quite some time during that bear market that we had in 2022 and 2023. And it's always a good sign when a meme coin does survive a bear market because most of the time, most meme coins, literally 99.9% of meme coins go to zero in a bull market and a bear market. And so we can say that this coin has survived a bear market. I actually believe that it launched at a perfect time because even though it was a bear market in 2023, the bull market was just starting to begin. And so it had a lot of history during that time, all the way from last year, to really show that it was here to stay. And it was just not a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month project. And as you saw last year when we had that alt season, it went from low market cap, 7-figure market cap, all the way to 9 figures, as high as $800 million in market cap. It pulled back, and then earlier this year, it ran up again to $1.4 billion in market cap. Then, of course, it had a huge swing all the way to 300 million, and then it's been climbing up ever since. And so reading this chart, from a meme coin that has survived a bear market and has been through multiple stages of extreme highs and extreme lows, this is really where the cult gets formed. This is where a solid foundation of a meme coin gets formed. Because if we look at Dogecoin, as you saw, Dogecoin started in 2013, probably way earlier than that. But for the longest time, for years, it did absolutely nothing. But it did have volume. And of course, crypto was still regarded as a scam back then. It wasn't popular. No big banks were looking into it. No hedge funds were looking into it. The government wasn't looking into it aside from confiscating Bitcoin. However, people found out about Dogecoin. They built a community. The market tested them. And pretty soon, retail started to hop in. And it had that huge swing high and then huge swing low. And then back again to where you almost thought that the chart was pretty much dead. However, it wasn't. Because around this time is the accumulation phase. People really saw the project for its potential and what it has done in the past, meaning that it has history, it has proven itself that it did well in the bull market, and people still invested. People still bought into the cult. And what did we see in 2024? All this accumulation right here, it eventually picked up and it flew from 10 billion all the way to almost $70 billion in market cap and now hovering at 32 billion. But this video is not about Dogecoin. I'm just clearly making an example of another meme coin with almost the same history as SPX6900. Of course, you can't compare the two right now because Dogecoin has been around for way longer, almost a decade. But looking at SPX6900's chart, it's practically doing the same thing as Dogecoin did in its early stages. Now, if we go on the site right here, as you see, it's really not positioned as a meme coin. It's more framed as a culture or movement. And they even have a manifesto, sort of like the Bitcoin manifesto. And the way everything is written about SPX900, it's really for the people. It's really for the retail. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, wow, you're just buying in here because this coin is so hyped. Absolutely it's hyped. I'm not going to deny that. But it was the fact that I heard so much about this coin that I finally gave it a chance. That I finally looked at the history of projects that would become just like Dogecoin. Because at the end of the day, that's really what we're looking for here, right? We're looking for the next Dogecoin, we're looking for the next Bitcoin, the next XRP, or at least something that can do similar to it. And by far, out of most meme coins, this is one of the few meme coins that has the potential to do something like Dogecoin did. And so as we see, it's really not positioned as a meme coin, but rather it's positioned as a culture or a movement. Unlike Dogecoin, where you have the famous Doge logo, and you could pretty much market Dogecoin just from the logo itself, the way SPX is marketed is through a cultural movement. People talk about how it's a movement. People talk about how this thing is a war between retail and these big hedge funds by these big banks. And so yes, it's doing very similar patterns as Dogecoin. However, I don't think it's really positioned like Dogecoin. And I think that's where this project has the potential, because it's sort of taking its own market. If this project were to compete with Dogecoin, it would have to compete with other dog projects, and I don't think it would have made it even this far. And so I would probably put this project not as a meme, but rather as a culture or a movement coin. Now, if you guys don't know who Murad is, he's basically the leader or the face of Spx6900. And of course, Spx6900 doesn't really have a leader or anything like that, but we can safely say that this guy is sort of like the Michael Saylor, but for Spx6900. Would I say that this guy is carrying this project? Absolutely, because he's the one that's talking about it the most. He literally made a 1 hour and 37-minute video about his investment thesis about Spx6900. He's also one of the biggest holders of this project. And to be honest, at first, I found this very suspicious, right? Maybe it was his project. Maybe he's shilling his own meme coin. But the more I really looked into it, this guy really isn't the only one showing his face and really putting his name out there for the coin itself. I think, just like with any retail investors, Murad most likely found out about Spx6900. He looked into it. He probably found that, okay, it's just a meme coin, whatever. Maybe a few weeks, few months go by. He keeps looking back again. He keeps looking back at the community. He sees that, okay, these guys are actually doing something. The community is putting in work. He sees that the market cap is very low. And so what does he do? He buys a big bag and he works for his bag. And this is what people need to understand about meme coins or cultural coins. In order for meme coins to do very well, the community needs to put in work. There needs to be leaders in the meme coin. Not just meme coins, but in every single coin. For example, of course, if we take a look at Michael Saylor, right? It's safe to say that he's one of the biggest Bitcoin whales. Does he own Bitcoin? Of course not. But he does own a lot as an individual. And because he has invested so much in Bitcoin, it would only make sense for him to only talk about Bitcoin and work for his bags. And just like Murad here, he's doing the same exact thing. In order for meme coins to be successful, not just short term, but long term, years, the community needs to keep investing. They need to keep on putting in work. They need to keep marketing it. They need to keep telling other people. And Murad has done such a phenomenal job on this. And again, as I said, at first I was very skeptical. Okay, like this is just some influencer trying to pump another meme coin, classic crypto. But the more I scroll through SPX timeline, I see that other people are doing it as well. It is not just him. These are just regular 9 to 5 people. They simply loaded up on their bags. Now they're working for their bags. The thing that you have to think about meme coins is that it's like a company. And when you buy a meme coin, it's like you own a share of that company. And so in the startup world or any other company, usually the ones that work the hardest are the ones that actually have a share of that company. It's not people that get paid hourly or salary. It's the people that actually own a share of that company because they see a long-term potential of making a lot of money in the future. Because if they work and work and work to build that company up, then it can eventually get acquired, and that's when they make their big exit. And so tying that back into Spx6900, people are doing exactly that. They're treating it like it's an actual company in which they have their own shares in, and they're really bought into that company. They're bought into the culture of that company, that they're literally marketing it every single day, showing their face, putting themselves out there. And you can go ahead and watch Murad's long clip. I've watched it already. But just to summarize it, he talks about macro pain, which means people are always in search for the meaning, such as younger generations facing the worst economics, like it's the most expensive ever to buy a house. Inflation is rising. There's AI eating jobs. And really, people are simply looking for assets that might outpace inflation or communities that at least gives them something that they can belong to. And that's exactly how Spx6900 has presented itself in crypto is, all right, you don't just have to be a holder. You can just you could be a part of us. In this video, Murad also talks about meme coins, how they're tokenized communities, with meme coins being that community. with memes, and then the community is a product, because if a coin becomes a cult, such as the mission, language, art, then the value can snowball. In this video, he also makes a statement that you need to stop trading and start believing. And the thing about SPX culture is that they ban charts. They push more on dollar cost averaging and holding, and treats belief as the moat. It's the thing that separates itself from these hundreds or thousands of other meme coins that's coming out on a daily basis. And can you think of one coin that has encouraged to stop trading and start believing? Well, it's the top coins. Bitcoin, XRP, Dogecoin. In those early stages, that's all they hammered. Just hold, just buy and hold, just believe, just be part of our community. That's it. And I believe that's the same exact theory that's being implemented on SPX6900, where you just need to stop trading, you need to buy and hold and believe and be part of our community. And that's why I believe it's done so well the past couple years. Now, in this video, Murad also talks about a mission coin, which means that SPX has a single audacious goal, which is to flip the stock market. And so it's every single thing that a company has, right? Every company has a major goal. SPX6900 is flip the stock market, surpass the S&P 500. And yes, you could say it's a cult, because in every single cult, there is a leader that always emphasizes that one big goal that people are that people are really striving for. It's almost become a religion in a sense. In this video, Murad also explains the critical mass flywheel, which means that if enough holders adopt the mission, content, and identity, it will compound to more holders, tighter supply, and higher reflexivity, which means that they just need to keep doing exactly what they need to be doing, onboard more people, talk about the project, onboard more people, talk about the project, encourage to buy and hold, and that's it. It's a simple thing. One person does that with another person, it turns into two. Two people do that to another person, becomes four, and so on. It becomes exponential. Again, making an example of Dogecoin, that is exactly what people did. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 16, and eventually you hit $66 billion in market cap, or I think close to $100 billion in market cap. Again, I'm making a lot of examples of Dogecoin because they have a lot of similarities in their early stages. SPX6900 has a major goal of hitting $1 trillion coin. And while that is insane to think about as of this moment, it's absolutely possible. I'm not saying that's where my exit target is, but what I'm saying is that when a project has that big of a goal, it's like everyone just wants to strive to get to that goal or close to it. Because let's be real here. We never would have thought Bitcoin would reach 2 trillion market cap if you were been around since, let's say, 2010, 2013. It would have been the same narrative, like, oh my God, that's so much. 2 trillion, that's insane. You're out of your mind. But what happened? It hit 100 million, it hit a billion, 100 billion, and eventually a trillion. Same with Dogecoin. What happened? Oh my God, $100 million in market cap. You're insane. That's too much. What happened? It hit 1 million, it hit 10 million, it hit 20 million, it hit 100 million, a billion, and close to 100 billion. And so this huge goal that a lot of projects have, like reaching $100 billion market cap or $1 trillion in market cap, based on what we've seen with many of these top projects, it is really possible. Could it happen next year? I don't think so, but could it happen over a span of 5 years, 10 years? Absolutely. Because that's what happened with Dogecoin and Bitcoin, because it took them 5, 10 years to reach these levels. And again, I'm referencing some of these tweets, how they have people literally posting DCA of $1,000 every single day, community members. Another guy also putting 50% of his profits, of his business profits, into SPX900 on a bi-weekly basis. And so that's crazy to think about, how these people are dropping in thousands of dollars, half of their business profits. These are people's livelihoods we're talking about here. Can we say that this is delusional? Yeah, for sure. Can we also say that Michael Saylor is delusional for putting hundreds of billions of dollars into Bitcoin? Absolutely. But can we think about the many times in history where we look at, let's say, trillion-dollar companies? All their founders were delusional. All their people in those companies were delusional. Because you can't build a big thing without being crazy.
This is the secret to crypto this cycle. Because crypto has millions more coins than ever before, finding a die-hard community is more important than ever before. The one thing that you can't fake is real active community participation and loyalty. This takes years to build up, and very few coins have achieved it this cycle. Those are the ones that will go.
And so really, Murad's huge thesis about S900 is that communities that resemble the delusional BTC Maxis, like anyone that just really talks about Bitcoin. You got people like Michael Saylor, and really thousands of other people that are just all about Bitcoin. All they talk about is Bitcoin. Why do they do that? Because they hold a lot of Bitcoin and they believe in it so much to where it's almost delusional to an outsider's perspective. You also have the crazy XRP Army, where people have been holding XRP for years, 5 years, 10 years. And again, people also have delusional market cap goals of this project, like reaching 100 trillion or reaching $100 per XRP. Will it take some time? Absolutely. Is it possible? Yes. Is it going to be hard? Of course. Is there going to be a lot of swing highs and swing lows, huge drops to where you thought that the coin was almost, going to be failures? Yeah, we've seen that many, many times, but it's still here and it keeps building. We also look at it with Doge, which Dogecoin has the huge Doge army and Elon Musk tweeting about Doge. And so looking at these other projects that I told you about, SPX6900 really resembles those. It resembles the same community. It resembles the same attitudes towards a project where everyone is almost delusional. And that's why it's hit $1 billion+ in market cap. And as we're seeing right now, we have here the Bitcoin cycles posted by Julian Battel. Right now, we're in the banana zone. We're about in phase 1, phase 2 of the market. As I said again in my past few videos, I believe we have a couple months to the end of this year left of this bull market. And the huge altcoin season, I believe, is going to ramp up. The huge altcoin season where everything pretty much goes parabolic, it happens very fast. It happens in less than 1 month and then boom, top and then bear market again. Same cycle as I've seen for the past 8+ years now. Anybody that tells you, oh, this cycle is so different, hasn't really learned much. Because really, this cycle has been the same. It maybe has been longer, but it's the same. And so that's what I think about SPX900 and why I'm invested in it. I invested in it not because I believe this coin is going to go to 100 trillion. I think it can, but that's not my personal target. I do believe that this coin can go to 100 billion in this bull cycle. And I'm not invested in the coin. I'm invested in the community. I'm invested in the culture. I'm invested at the fact that they have survived through a year plus of bear market and they exploded out of nowhere. It wasn't out of nowhere. It was because people kept recycling the same thing over and over again, which was to hold, believe, market. Hold, believe, market, or onboard. And when everyone keeps doing that over and over and over again, it's only a matter of time until the floodgates open and it really skyrockets. And again, in the very beginning of hearing about this coin for actually months, because I found out about this coin last year, I was very skeptical because, of course, Murad, he's a big influencer. He's just pumping his bags. But the more I really looked into it, the actual attitude of the community, it really resembles that of Doge, that of XRP, that of Shiba, projects like those. And really, everyone is delusional. And I believe it's the delusional people can make something big. So my strategy for dollar cost averaging X6900 is simple. I'm simply just buying between a couple $100 to $500 a day. My exit target is 100 billion plus market cap. Take profits along the way. Take profits on like 10 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion. And of course, always holding a moon bag. I would regard this coin as safe because let's say even Murad, if he decided to, all right, I'm going to sell my bags, I'm going to stop talking about this coin can still survive because that happened with many other meme coins. Dogecoin had their own leader. Just keep in mind that Dogecoin's founder sold the coin very early on, yet it's still here. It still survived. It's still making all-time highs. And so it's been here at this stage where Murad isn't the only one impacting the price. It's a lot of other people. I'm not really worried if he actually sells his bag and fucks off somewhere because someone will just replace him. There's going to be other people that are going to step up, buy more bags, start talking about it, and do the same thing as Murad is doing. And so with everything said, this is why I became a holder of SPX900. I invest in the community when it comes to meme coins. I invest in the culture, the attitude. Look through Twitter. You can see everyone's talking about it. They're literally putting their face behind the project, which in a lot of meme coins, nobody really puts their face in meme coins. But putting your face in meme coins just shows how much you trust in it. That even if it goes zero, then you're going to say, oh, well, at least I tried. At least I tried to work for my bags. With everything said, I make a lot more videos like this. I review coins, my insights, targets, crypto alphas. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this. Join my free Telegram. I post in there multiple times throughout the day, updating you on the market, what to look out for, crypto alphas. Thanks for watching.